Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is the Manchester United versus Everton preview. If you're watching this as a pre-record, it means I did go down the pub and not do an 8 o'clock live show. So apologies for that, but we've got loads to talk about anyway. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference reaction. I want to just say straight away, I think we might lose on Sunday, but I'm not predicting we're going to lose, if that makes sense, because I want to ramp up the enormity of the difficulty of this game. It really is difficult. Everton at Goodison Park is difficult. I love Goodison Park. Traditionally, I just remember it from the late 80s, Goodison Park. I've always been impressed by it. It's just got an atmosphere. It's a difficult place to go. I'm not going to come out with some stat that we haven't won there in 10 years, because we did actually beat them under Mourinho a couple of years ago. But we did lose there 4-0 last season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come out with some really big statements about that, which I'll talk about in a moment. But of course, the big news is Anthony Martial and, to a lesser extent, Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba looking to come back training next week. I remember I said this at the start of the week. He's back in training next week. There's a slim chance he could play against Man City a week on Sunday, but more likely the Spurs game. Mourinho. But remember, this happened before and he didn't get back for Mourinho. But I think there is a good chance that he will be back. Whether he walks straight back into the team or not, get your comments in below. I don't think comments below topic 1 for you lot. Should Pogba walk straight back into this team? I think he goes on the bench. I don't care how good he is. I think he goes on the bench because McTominay's doing well, Matic is doing well, Fred's doing well, Bruno's doing well. And if we are building a future and we are building a vision, then you shouldn't just walk straight back into this team. I think the only player who's injured who walks straight back in is Rashford, because actually Dan James and everybody else haven't been that consistent. So Rashford walked straight in. But in the midfield, there shouldn't be any, look at me, I'm Paul Pogba walking back into that team. I don't want to see that happen. And I'm very interested to see what impact Pogba's going to have on the squad. Because you hear rumours about Pogba being the big I am. Not in a bad way, but like, you know, I'm the leader. Well, we haven't had that leader for three or 4 months, have we? And we've sort of become leaders ourselves in a way. So, you know, it's interesting when Pogba comes back. But Anthony Martial, that's my predicted team on the left-hand side. I think there's enough hints to say that we are going to play 3 at the back. Luke Shaw's become undroppable, but Brandon Williams, I think, will start. Dan James came off at half-time, and I think he will play 5 at the back. Away from home in a difficult game, 5 at the back seems to be the way that he wants to go. I don't like it, but I'm not going to say that's the reason we're going to lose. We beat Chelsea with 5 at the back, so I think that's the way that Ole will go. And also, I think with Martial potentially being out injured, we don't really have 3 to play up front. If he goes with the 4-2-3-1, who play on the wide positions? Well, Dan James, Greenwood, Martial, Agallo on the bench. It could happen, but I think it will be 5 at the back. Just a very interesting stat about Everton as well. Taking Marcus Rashford out of the equation, from the start of last season, Marcus Rashford scored 24 goals. He's the number 1 player under the age of 23 for scoring goals from last season. He scored 24 goals. But in position 2 and 3 is Richarlison with 23 and Calvert-Lewin with 18. So they're more than capable of scoring goals, Everton, on Sunday. And I think it is going to be... I almost feel that this game, if we win it, we go to the next challenge. If we lose it, we're like, we're back where we were. That's how I feel about this game. So if we do beat Everton on Sunday, unless there's some big VAR decision or there's some major fluke or whatever like that, if we actually go and win and deserve to win, like we have done recently, that is a massive, massive, massive result for Manchester United. And it's a big weekend as well, because Chelsea go to Bournemouth, so I'm hoping that they will drop points, which leaves the gate open a little bit more to go to Everton and win. But we've got really 3 big Premier League games, 4 really. Everton away, City at home, Spurs away, Sheffield United at home. If we can take 10 points from those 4 games, I think we'll be firmly in the top 4 position. So I'm looking forward to that. But if Martial doesn't play, it will be Agallo. Massive responsibility on Bruno Fernandes as per usual. He makes the team better. Paul Scholes said it last night. He's made a team that was quite unwatchable very watchable again. That's one player. He has done absolutely superbly well. I mean, there's a poll going round at the moment, and topic 2 for you to comment on: who would be your player of the month for February? The 3 candidates were Luke Shaw, Martial and Bruno Fernandes, which I don't disagree with, but I would add Fred in there as well. And for me, I don't know what I would go with that. I don't know what you would go with. Just a reminder though, the United Stand chart show Saturday mornings. If you've not been watching it, 9 o'clock, it'll go up tomorrow morning. The United Stand chart show, the top 10 players of the week. Fred was number 1 last week. I think Bruno was around number 5. So there's going to be some changes this week. Who will Fred hold on to number 1? We've got 2 new entries as well. I love the chart show on a Saturday morning. It's nostalgic, but it's relevant. And United players they should be watching, because it shows where you're being ranked and whether you're doing well and whether you're not in that top 10. But let's go to some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's comments from post-Bruges, which they do on the Europa League nights for the Everton press conference. So, talking about Everton, he said that, really interesting this, he said that I've never been as low as I was after that 4-0 loss last season. He did say after that loss that some of these players won't be here, and I will. Now, what he also said is that this team aren't going to give up like that team did. 100% these lads will not give in. And I think they're very, very brave comments. Initially, I thought they were a bit silly comments, because you shouldn't comment on a game before you've actually played it, because what if it does go wrong? But if you look at the Everton game last season when we lost 4-0, he said 1 or 2 players had played their last games because of that result. And I was like, wow. Like, Ollie, what you doing? I like this. I like this big talk. I like this honest talk. And so I instantly went and looked at what the team was against Everton last year, expecting to see deadwood players like Darmian and Valencia and, Ashley Young, maybe players that we've got rid of. No, the team was De Gea, Lindelof, Smalling, Jones, Dalot, Fred, Matic and Pogba, Rashford, Lukaku and Martial. So when he talks about 1 or 2 players I decided they weren't right for United anymore, well, realistically, the only players that aren't there or are not playing at the moment are Lukaku, which I think was definitely a player he was referring to, Pogba, who's obviously not been playing much, Phil Jones hasn't played much, and Chris Smalling, who's gone off to Roma to do really well. So actually, it's not actually the team you think it is. But certainly, Matic has spoken today about Ollie's improved over a year because he's getting more experience. You would expect that to be the case, of course. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being very brave and saying, we won't repeat that result. These players will not let me down like that. They won't give up like those players did. So, look, it would take one hell of a result for Everton to smash us even 3-0. So I think Ollie's on safe ground to say that, but it is a challenge, and Everton will be very, very quickly on Everton. What do I think of Everton? I think Ancelotti's improved them. They score goals. I watched the Arsenal game last week. I've seen them play a couple of times under Ancelotti. They're definitely playing better football. They're definitely better organised, but I think defensively they make mistakes. They should have beaten Arsenal last week, but they make mistakes, and I think that encourages me when we've been better on the attack. So United need to win, and normally a point in this game you would applaud it, and I think if we do get a point, everyone will go, well, it's a good result. But actually, because we are still on course for our worst ever Premier League season, even though we've been winning recently, we're still a long way off 64 points, which will equal David Moyes. We do need to win. We need to win because we want to beat that record. We need to win because we want to be in the top 4, most important of all. So we do need to win on Sunday. But I think Ollie will set up, as usual, away from home, not to lose, because that keeps the momentum train going. So, as a prediction-wise, I think that if Martial's fit, I think we'll win. If Martial's not fit, I think it's a massive loss. And I know we all like Ighalo, but I think there's a big difference between Anthony Martial and Ighalo. And I think if we haven't got Martial, we might not win on the weekend. But we might not win anyway. We might not win. It's a tough game. It really is. He's also spoken about the team and the evolution. Very interesting. And he also spoke for the second time in a row about the brilliant training of Carrick and McKenna, which, I've got to be honest, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon here. I understand why Ollie's doing it again, and I applaud him for it, because we're doing well at the moment. So he's chucking as many positives as he can, because he's trying to save his job. He's trying to save Carrick's job, McKenna's job. So we've won a few games. So it's like, yeah, I've got to applaud. We're doing, this is what I mean. It was all about patience. We're building something. The training on the training ground's been great from Carrick and McKenna. We've heard that twice in the last week. Rome was never built in a day. We made decisions in the summer that we knew was going to make it difficult this year. And as much as I want to believe it, at the moment I'm still very, I'm treading with trepidation, because to me, the most obvious thing is not the training on the training ground. It's not the decisions you made in the summer. It's not a rebuild. It's not a vision. What you've done is you bought Bruno Fernandes. That's the difference. And I think anybody who doesn't realise that is clueless, because you take Bruno Fernandes off that pitch like we did for 80 minutes against Club Brugge last week, and like we did for the last 20 minutes last night against Club Brugge, and United go back to being the frustrating, unwatchable team that Paul Scholes was talking about. Bruno Fernandes comes into the team and suddenly everything looks good. Maybe he's the missing piece. Maybe he is the missing piece. Let's spin it onto a positive. Maybe the coaching is good. Maybe the vision is good, and Bruno Fernandes is the piece to bring it all together. Maybe. But what we've got to see is we've got to see results over the next 3 or 4 weeks. I'm massively excited. Everton, Man City, Spurs away, Sheffield United. There's nowhere to hide. I think we've been lucky in the Europa League, but you need a bit of luck. We've been very lucky. We couldn't have got an easier tie, and I'm not taking. We'll deal with less Lanks or whatever they're called later on, but not on this show. Later on in time, but. Now it's about the top 4. We know Chelsea are going to be out of Europe. Arsenal are out of Europe. There are teams that are going to try and bite at our heels, and there are teams that we need to grab hold of their trousers, pull them down and run past laughing and take 4th spot. So really interesting, and I think I'm relaxed. I know people are Ollie out. I respect them. I know people are Ollie in. I respect them. For me, as I've said before, give him till May. Let's see what happens. I'm quite enjoying watching Manchester United at the moment. I'm not getting carried away. It's game to game. It's patience. I'm enjoying what's happening, and I'm just sitting back waiting to see. What do I feel? What do I want to happen? I want Manchester United to win games. I want Manchester United to excite me, and I have to be careful about the opposition. You know, Club Brugge not that good. Watford weren't that good. Chelsea could have gone either way. Club Brugge away, we were very negative. So I think the warning signs are there not to get too carried away. But then on the other hand, I get really excited and I think, well, I remember saying on the winter break, momentum and confidence go hand in hand. You win games, you win games. And I've seen this happen before. All right, you get a bit of luck. All right, Harry Maguire should have been sent off. Maybe we should have lost to Chelsea. All right, against Club Brugge, Martial's goal comes from a mistake and we end up getting a draw. All right, against Watford, you know, that VAR goal, a bit unlucky for them. 1-1, who knows what happens. All right, last night they have a man sent off. Yeah, we've had the rub of the green, but we've took that rub and we've battered teams. So, but the big thing is, what about Everton on Sunday? Because of that momentum and because of that confidence, we go to Everton and play really well and win. And that I've seen this happen so many times. A team sort of gets a bit of luck, gets a rub of the green, gets into the winning habit, confidence comes. Then you get better and better and better, and that's what I'm hoping is going to happen with United, because we've certainly had bad luck this season, and we've certainly got stuck in a rut this season, and maybe now a little bit of momentum. But I just want to go back. I am worried about Martial because I'm hopeful it'll be fine. Ollie said in the press conference that he did try to train on Thursday morning, but he failed a fitness test. We might send him for a scan today. If he's out for 2 weeks, that's a big 2 weeks. If he's out for 3 or 4 weeks, that's a real blow for Manchester United. So I'm hoping we can get a bit of luck around injuries, because we know our medical staff's rubbish. We know our fitness training's rubbish. We've suffered from it for a long time. And what we can't afford to do is pick up injuries again. And the odds suggest that we will. But I'm hoping, like with the Europa League draw, I'm hoping we can get a bit of luck in the dressing room, in the fitness room as well. Because if we can keep people fit and Pogba comes back, I think we will do well. Just a very interesting thing I wanted to talk about as well. Other than Aguero, who is well under 100 minutes, fewest minutes per goal is Greenwood. 115 minutes per goal he's averaging at the moment. So every 115 minutes he's scoring a goal, which is just over 90 minutes in a game. Quick maths. It's just over a game and a third. Every game and a third he scores, which is a really good record for Greenwood. Minutes to goals, he's only second to Aguero, which I wasn't aware of that. It's really good. And look, Mason Greenwood, I don't think will start on Sunday against Everton, unless we don't play the 5 at the back. And I think he's going to go 5 at the back. I thought he'd go 5 at the back at the start of the week. I think the way that Luke Shaw's been playing, you can't drop Luke Shaw, but Brandon Williams doesn't deserve to be dropped. So I think his solution will be 5 at the back. And as I said, Dan James going off at half-time, it's a big sign for me. But Mason Greenwood has done really well, and I think he's had a really good week. I thought he looked very lively against Club Brugge when he came on at Old Trafford. I thought his goal against Watford was fantastic, and he grew into that game after a quiet half. I mean, he's sort of... This is the brilliance of Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has sort of taken the spotlight off players. Like, specifically Mason Greenwood. Like when we didn't have Bruno Fernandes, Greenwood comes on and you're like, please be our saviour. 18 years of age, learning his way in the game. Now, all eyes are on Bruno and Fred to a certain extent, and Martial. And Greenwood plays, and we're like, yeah, we love Greenwood, but we're not spotlighting him. We're not like, oh, what's he going to do? We're just sort of like, yeah, Greenwood should be here. Oh, Bruno's got the ball. Oh, Greenwood! You know, we're sort of... it's the perfect environment for Greenwood now. And this is what I've always spoken about youth players. You saw it with the class of 92. They come into the team. They've got big personalities, big performers in there like Roy Keane, like Cantona, like Schmeichel, like Irwin, who can nurture them. We're a long way from that. I'm not comparing Greenwood to the class of 92, and I'm certainly not comparing Bruno to Roy Keane or Cantona. But we have got there's so many positives to Bruno, but that is a positive as well. The spotlight on Greenwood has dimmed a little bit, which is right, because we don't want to expose him so much. Oh, what? Being able to just come in and not have the pressure so much, I think it's been a great week for Greenwood, like I said. So look, back to Everton. Chelsea tomorrow at Bournemouth. There's an opportunity here. We could come out of this weekend, if Bournemouth do us a favour and we beat Everton, we could be joint with Chelsea. We've got to try and get that 3 points on Chelsea, I think, because they got absolutely humiliated by Bayern the other night, and they will get over that. So I'm hoping the hangover of that tomorrow, they drop points, and then we go and get a win at Everton. Because I actually, my prediction for this game, I've got to be honest, we could lose. It's a tough game. I think it's a tougher game than last year where we lost 4-0. I think Everton are a better team than last year. But I've had a sneaky feeling all week that we're going to win. I've had a sneaky feeling all week that we will get a result at Everton. And I think it could be a clinical result again. I think it could be similar to Chelsea, where we don't concede and then we're clinical with our chances. Because one thing's for sure, when Bruno Fernandes plays, there are chances. So I could see us nicking it 2-0. The only reservation I've got is Anthony Martial. If Anthony Martial's not fit, I worry a little bit. And that moves me into the midfield there. I mean, I don't think anybody's got any major problems with that predicted 11 there if it is a back five. The only one I would say is probably Matic in for McTominay. Now, I've gone with what I think Ollie will do. I haven't got a problem if McTominay plays. I've openly said I prefer McTominay to Matic because McTominay is the future and Matic is the past, because McTominay is quicker and also McTominay can pass and break lines. I think McTominay is learning from Carrick in his passing to break the lines. Like, there was a brilliant pass against Club Brugge where he took 4 players out and put Dan James in, and he's done that a few times this season. Matic doesn't have that in his locker, that ability to take what appears to be a safe situation for the opposition, and McTominay can spot a pass. So I like McTominay, but in the short term, I haven't got a problem with Matic playing against Everton. And I think Ollie will go with Matic because I think Ollie's mindset in these games, and against Man City and against Spurs in a couple of weeks, will be keep a clean sheet. I fancy us to score. So I think Matic is intrinsically linked with clean sheets at the moment. Now, whether he is or not, I don't want to get into that debate. A lot of people say, look at the game. I should do Ricky, really. Listen up, Fleck. Look at the games. He's superb. Look at the games Matic has played and the clean sheets compared to McTominay. Drop Fred. But no, seriously, Matic is associated with a lot of the clean sheets. When you actually delve into it, some of the teams we've played have been a bit crap, but also some of the clean sheets we've had have been with a back five. You play a back five, you've got more chance of getting a clean sheet than a back four. It's numbers, it's quick maths, it's simple. But Matic, I will concede, Matic to McTominay, Matic is a better defensive midfielder in relation to protecting the defence. So I think Ollie will go with Matic over McTominay. But look, these are the problems we want. We came into this season saying our midfield won't get us top four. Now we've got options. Pogba to come back, McTominay could even be on the bench. So we have got options in the midfield. Lindelof, I think, will start over Bailly. I thought Bailly should have played last week against Watford. I thought his performance against Chelsea was good enough. Ollie went with Lindelof. I haven't seen any evidence this week that would make Ollie go, I'm going with Bailly over Lindelof. Like, Lindelof played well against Watford. He got a rest against Bruges. Bailly played. It wasn't the sort of game to have a commanding defensive performance. So I think it will be Lindelof. Eric Bailly long term I would prefer, but yeah, I think that he will go with Lindelof. I just want to make sure that I've not missed anything about about what Ollie said in the press conference. Rome not built in a day. Time, decisions in the summer. And this team won't give up like that team. We've done that. Lowest I've ever been. Yeah, we did that. Richarlison, team that lost, last chance for 1 or 2. We did that. De Gea to go. We haven't done that. Okay. Yeah, there is rumours about De Gea at the moment. There's rumours about De Gea. If I don't even know where it's coming from. You know, it's very difficult on social media because you get proper news and then you get I'm at MUFC #1 ITK, you know, and you're like, they tweet stuff out and they're like, you're just making it up, aren't you? Because or you're in the know. I mean, you just don't know, do you? But I did see something, and I have heard some of you lot talking about it as well. Like, would you sell De Gea in the summer to get Dean Henderson in goal to generate funds? Now, my major issue with this, and I heard it again today, if United do keep Pogba, they might sell De Gea to raise some funds. Why are Manchester United raising funds? Like, when Manchester United Football Club, our revenue levels are superb. They've dropped because we're not in the Champions League, but we're still making a lot of money. Manchester United shouldn't have to sell players to create revenue. And that's a dangerous path if that starts to get into the psyche of fans that, we need to sell him to buy players. Like, we don't need to sell players to buy players. We make lots of money and the Glazers take the money out of the club. If we're now going to go down the road of we make loads of money but we've got to sell players to buy, we're being mugged off even more. So I have a major issue with that. And then the second point, like, De Gea's better than Henderson. Like, Henderson's a good goalkeeper, but De Gea is better. De Gea has been a great servant to this club. De Gea is, if he stays for another 5 years, will be a legend of this club. He's done great things and he's getting back to his best. I don't want De Gea to go. If I'm honest with you, if it's a choice between De Gea and Pogba, yeah, outfield players are more valuable than goalkeepers, I accept that. But De Gea's been a great servant to this club. I know he wanted to leave and the fax machine saved us, but he's been consistently a very good performer for us, and I don't want De Gea to go. So I don't want to go down this road of, let's get rid of De Gea to raise a bit of money and we can put Henderson in goal, because it's flawed. Let's raise money at a club that makes loads of money. Why are we doing that? And let's get rid of De Gea. Like, I don't want that to happen. I'm still very fast and firm on the fact that Pogba wants to leave, that it's best for us that we let him go. We get 100, 150 million quid and then we spend it. That's what I think Manchester United need to do. So I don't want De Gea to go. I don't know what you lot think about that, but there we go. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Really enjoyed that Whirlwind tour. It's a massive game, this one. I know I keep saying every game's the biggest game of the season, but that's what happens when you're in the situation that we're in. So very excited about this game. Please do smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. The chart show, the United Stand chart show, is going up tomorrow morning. Do not miss that. This is a show that we need to keep every week of the season. It's only week 3. And can Fred make it #1 for 3 weeks in a row? He's going for that Brian Adams, everything I do, 18 weeks at #1. He's never going to do it, but he might do. You never know. So yeah, that will be going up tomorrow morning. Everton on Sunday. I'll be live at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Saturday Night Live. So lots and lots of content for you as per usual. Thanks everyone for watching. Enjoy the start to your weekend. I can't wait for this game against Everton. It's going to be big, and I've just got a feeling. I've got a sneaky feeling. What about you? Speak to you soon.